It is time, guys. It is time for main topic number two, where we will be giving you our spoiler filled breakdown of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 6. This has been another series that has completely subverted my expectations for what I thought it was going to be. Even after WandaVision and seeing how much of a character story and how character driven the entire season was, I still didn't fully expect that from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and I should have. I love that this show got into the mental state of where Bucky is right now, battling with not being the Winter Soldier anymore, being able to beat his programming, watching Sam being handed the shield and being given the mantle of Captain America, but not feeling like he was the right person to represent America because of how America treats minorities in general. There's a lot of great and amazing themes within this show, and I can't wait to talk about this finale. And then once we talk about the finale, we'll talk about our overall thoughts on the entire series and go from there. But the episode opens up and we see the flag smashers. We instantly get a quick flyby of Sam flying in his new suit, but we don't see it. Bucky is walking by these guards and they refer to him as Sergeant Barnes. He has his rank back. That absolutely broke me inside, that he has his rank back. He has his status back as a soldier in this world. And I absolutely love this entire episode. Sam, I kind of want to start with you. Just talking about the beginning. How did you feel about that beginning portion when we got the reveal of the Captain America suit?
Oh my god, it was worth it. Honestly, I did not look at spoilers, and only image that I actually had to give me that like of how it was gonna look like is from Vash showing that comic book picture, and it looked really good. It looked like really great match for Sam to literally for that outfit, the shield and everything, the new wings, perfect. To have it to the style and everything, the Wakanians, they know the style. They're much better style than the old school Captain America suit because we were all tired of it. We were done with this. Like nobody expected the show to be this good, and nobody like everybody would be already just going just transition to have Sam be Captain America and go on for the next movie. No, I think this was the best way you can do it where why not tell a real story of how you can transition from a regular blonde hair, blue eye Captain America to a new today Captain America, Black Captain America, where he's not a super soldier. He's just a regular guy, black man doing what he believes is right, like literally protecting. He put himself into danger. He even admits, like in this show, like I could die at any time. I'm just a regular soldier, but I'm Black Captain America. I'm what this world needs right now at this very moment. And I feel like with Disney, they touch real life situation into this entire like and put it into this entire series where everybody need to watch this. They need to try to understand that this is real world stuff. We're actually having the same real world problems. And like I hate that people keep saying like, oh, it's all too much politics, almost too much touching. Do you guys even know what's going on in politics? Can you even talk politics to even complain about politics? Like, can you even like understand what the hell is going on with the world? If not, can you at least try to empathize or to watch this entire series to know what's like this kind of stuff, this kind of thing? Like with when we found the previous episode with Isaiah, like there's no like Captain America is all it's a white guy. Like what black person would want to be a Captain America, stuff like that? A real Captain America that wants the world to change, the one who has the most hope for the world and the one that Steve Rogers entrusts into. Sam knew what he was going into. He felt like he has the heart and the spirit and hope of Captain America, and it was beautiful. I think this entire series everybody needs to watch this because they need to relate to how they need to see it to experience what's going on into the real world. We are living in this struggle for real, and I think Sam can be a hope and inspiration within the Marvel Universe side, but also in real world where we need to accept and hope and open into the world where Captain America needs to be black or different other culture. It doesn't need to be a whole blonde hair, white blue eyes, white boy like we had in the 1950s. Times have changed. We need to adapt to new life. We need to be open about it. And I know we're supposed to talk about the beginning of it because I was just gonna.
Oh no, you're fine, dude. I'm loving this. Keep going.
Because what Sam's saying, like, I know in the camera right now, millions of people hate me because I'm this new Captain America. You can tell from the real world, like, he doesn't even not even to your world, into our generation right now in this very world are not happy with Sam being Captain America because he's black, and that's the kind of struggles everybody has to live with. But you have to know he has the spirit and hope of the real Captain America. He's doing what's best for the world. He's doing what's best for the universe. He's doing what's best for what's to come. And that's the reason why we need this for Captain America 4. This is huge. This is what we need in the real world to feel that this stuff is real. You can't just ignore it just because it's your politics or it's because it's just you can't be blinded by this. You can't just ignore this. You kind of have to be the whole see it, do something about it, be the person to want to change. Be the change for the person. Stop waiting for people to change for you. Change for yourself. Sam. That's literally what I got from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm sorry, Captain America and the Winter Soldier.
That's right. Put some respect.
That transition at the end. The transition at the end was freaking beautiful. It was amazing.
Yeah, man, like there were so many moments that made me cry throughout this entire episode, man. Like during the beginning when he throws the shield in, hits the guy, it bounces back, breaks the glass even more. He catches it, rolls into it, and then we get the reveal of the costume. And then the one guy asks him like, "Who are you?" And he says, "I'm Captain America." Bro, what? I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. I almost cried watching that scene. It was so incredible to watch that because, like you said, Sam, like someone has to stand up, someone has to take on this mantle. Mm-hmm. It didn't even have to be a black person.
Or anything like that too.
The United States is built of so many different types of people. Whoever it is that is strong enough to stand up to be that symbol should be Captain America, right? It doesn't, yes, it does mean a lot to me that it is a black man, but it could have been anyone, right? As long as you are willing to stand up for what's right, that is the only thing that matters. And Steve knew that that person was Sam Wilson, and I absolutely loved it. What were you going to say, Vash?
I was going to say that I love how in the beginning of the episode, we start off of him asking Sam, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm Captain America." And then at the end of the episode, he goes to him like, "Hey, Cap. Hey, Cap." And then Sharon said, "Oh, they're talking to you." And the same guy, "Hey, there's one last flag smasher up in the river. Can you go?" I'm like, "Yeah, I got you." So I love how it shows from the beginning of the episode, like people was questioning who he is, like who is he representing at the end. People like you said, like Sam mentioned as well, like people won't accept them as Captain America, but the people that do already did. So I love that transition. But to answer to what James said earlier and everything, I love when Bucky, first, it was weird that Bucky was just passing his cops. So like, oh, remember, guys, he was a Winter Soldier. He used to kill us cops. But like, he was just walking by.
He got pardoned. He saved the world.
I know. But still, like, in my head, I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, in my head, my joke is like, oh, I used to kill y'all people back then when I was here, part of the whole Hydra shit. Yeah, gang, gang. But now he's like, yeah, I got my Sergeant Barnes back. So when I heard that, like, oh, shit, like, they gave his ranking back. So to hear that and him getting respect by the cops to let him pass by, and they're like, "Oh, that's fucking beautiful."
Remember, they kind of pardoned a lot of people, and Bucky was one of the people that they first pardoned and stuff.
Oh yeah, of course. But seeing that was beautiful, and for him to get Sergeant Barnes back, like I love that. And again, I know James is on a different side. Sam and curious to know that would you like for him to continue being called the Winter Soldier since he left the book to her and left that pass for him, or do you think he would like to take the mantle of the name that he got from Wakanda, White Wolf? I would. I know, James. I'm curious to know if you changed your mind since we last spoke about it a couple episodes back. So, did you change your mind, or do you still think he should just take that name as Winter Soldier, but change it into a positive way?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I was never sold either way. I honestly didn't know which way I wanted to go. I kind of want it to be like a Deku thing where he takes the name and changes it into what it's supposed to mean and carry that into the future. But at the same time, I don't mind him changing it up to White Wolf. So honestly, it can go either way. And I honestly don't care. I think it'll be great either way if they call him White Wolf. Or again, they can do the Deku thing. I will take this name that was used negatively and flip it, because I am not that person anymore, but I am going to take that name and make it mean something. So either way it goes, I'll be happy.
Sam, how do you feel about that?
I mean, I think he doesn't really identify himself much of the Winter Soldier anymore. White Wolf is for more towards with the Wakandians, but I think he just lives to accept more, where he can finally like live his name as Bucky now. Just be Bucky Barnes. Just never.
Yeah, but he needs a superhero name.
Yeah, like he needs a superhero name. So like that's why I would prefer like he has White Wolf because of him and the Wakandians. So hopefully he takes that like, oh, Captain America and White Wolf, like that'd be pretty dope. Or like again, like what James said, like if he takes that as a positive name, like he left a pacifist, but for him to take the mantle of Winter Soldier and him to bring it to a positive, then like, yeah, I'm the Winter Soldier, but I'm not the same person I was. I'm a better person. Like those type of lines would be pretty dope. And isn't me, or wouldn't it be dope to hear in this episode when Sam told Bucky, say like, I'm on your left, or imagine if Winter Soldier told Sam, like Captain America, I'm on your left, like that would have been really homage to this episode, like back to Sam and back to Steve, but now it's with Bucky and Sam. Like that would have been dope if a line was said throughout the episode, like I'm on your left. Like that would have been amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, like it's sorry, I was gonna say because like both of them like were both impacted because of Steve Rogers, and they're just like they didn't have the greatest relationship in the beginning, not even towards the middle, but it comes to a common ground where they both like. Well, we both remember Steve. We knew who he was, and he trusts both of us to be like good friends with each other and good partners to have each other's back. And I like it this way. It's more like they didn't have a great relationship from the start, but then they eventually grew closer to each other, and then like they have a common ground. They finally find partnership in both of them, thanks to Steve. So
yeah. John, so I'll explain. So in the beginning of My Hero, Bakugo calls Izuku Deku as a negative connotation, right? So he decided to take that name, flip it, and make it mean something else, make it mean something powerful, something that is someone that fights for peace and for justice, right? So that's kind of the thing that I'm talking about. Like the name Winter Soldier was given to Bucky, and it's surrounded with all of this negativity. I would love for him to take that, flip it, and be the Winter Soldier that's a symbol of peace alongside Captain America. So that's kind of what I was going for. But let's keep going on within the episode, where the Flag Smashers kidnap the senators. They put them in two different trucks. I absolutely loved that sequence, watching Bucky fight against the Flag Smashers and using his vibranium arm to rip that door off of that armored truck to save those senators. Like, what did you guys think about that?
I was gonna ask before we get into that fight and everything, because right before that fight, Sharon just literally walk off just killing somebody with a poison gas like it was nothing, because
remember,
she literally
these are
put
super soldiers. Like
you can't
talk no jutsu this, and you can't really.
But thing is, Sam even acts like, oh, how do you do it? Like, oh, I just put a poison gas in the trunk and everything, no big deal. And she just walk up like a nothing. I'm like, damn girl, you literally are like bad. Like we're gonna get into it.
She's a shield agent. She's had to kill people before, so I mean, it wouldn't be really that big of a deal for her, honestly.
True. There is something. And I guess as we're on the topic about Sharon Carter, I just want to say, like, a couple weeks ago when I came up with theory of, Sharon Carter being the power broker, I saw that happening with that route of her character and her story. And I just want to say, I was right. Right, James?
Congratulations, Vash. Congratulations that you put the breadcrumbs together that was given to us in the show. So let's talk about it, right? So Sharon was always one of the options, right? We're not surprised that Sharon is the power broker. She was always one of the options. It was between her. It was between I can't. Julia Louis Dreyfus's character, and for me, it was like Thunderbolt Ross and potentially another character. Right. The reason why I didn't want it to be Sharon Carter, and I'll explain. Just give me a second here. So I'm not upset with it. I was upset when I initially saw the reveal. I didn't really like it, and I'll say this, right? Would you actually want to see a Mission Impossible movie where Ethan Hunt turned into a bad guy? I personally don't want to see that, right? Because it's the same thing. In the IMF has turned their back on Ethan Hunt in every single movie. But what does he do? He goes right back because he knows that the mission to save people is way more important, right? That's what I personally wanted for Sharon, which is why I put her on the back burner in terms of people that could have been the power broker, because that's not what I want. Yes, and me and I were talking about this at length earlier today, but she said Sharon looked at everything that Peggy stood for, that Steve stood for, and none of it mattered, right? Hydra took over. Everything that her family has always fought for meant nothing, right? She didn't get pardoned. She had to live on her own and work in the underground for 5 years to fend for herself, right? It all makes sense. I get it. All of the pieces connect. Whenever we get that sequel series, whenever we get that sequel movie, it makes perfect sense that Cap and Bucky would have to go against someone that they once called a friend. It's just that I personally don't like the choice of making Sharon Carter this villain. Again, I made the example to Ethan Hunt because if Mission Impossible 8 came out and Ethan Hunt was the villain, I would be pissed off because that's not something that I personally want to see. So it was never a thing where it's like, oh, it's not possible. Sharon can't be the power broker. I put it on the back burner because it's not something that I wanted to see. It's not something that I personally feel is interesting for that character and for the story going forward. Will it be interesting? Sure. In Feige we trust. Whenever they give it to us, it's going to make sense. Like I already said, Cap and Bucky will now have to go against a friend. It's just not something that I personally wanted.
So for me to add to what James was saying, as much as I could make jokes about it, yeah, I was right about it. Am I happy that I was right? Hell no, because I'm on James' boat. As much as I could read the story and the breadcrumbs, like James mentioned, of where they were going with her character and where they were leading up to for her to become or was the power broker, we don't know, like her and Carla say, like, come back and become a muscles. We saw all the money she has, all those real artifacts, all those real art pieces that she has. We were wondering on the show, how did she get those pieces? What type of money struggling did she have to do for her to get there? So she must have done a lot of stuff in the dark webs and the dark side for her to do that. But like she said, is that she's not an Avenger. The government did not forgive her and did not pardon her. So she has a big hatred for that. But what type of hatred is that your father, maybe uncle, or what it is that happened? Steve Rogers went to pass, so who don't know how the timeline is. But at the end of the day, when Steve Rogers represented Captain America and your great-grandmother aunt, Peggy Carter, represented what it was for the first Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., of who it was, and for you to do this turn, like I said, my theory, cool, I was right. We make jokes about it. But at the end of the day, what made her character to turn this route? So I'm curious to know. And for her to hang up that phone call and for the government literally saying, oh, the Agent Carter family holds a strong name in the government. Like, all right, cool. If you say that, why the fuck did you not forgive her in the first place if Agent Carter family hold a strong name in the first place? That's one question. Two questions.
I'm okay with that. They made a mistake and they were trying to fix it, right?
Yeah, it's trying to fix it. Cool. But the second thing is, like, if Sharon heard that, I'm like, all right, cool. Maybe I'm doing some wrong shit that my parents would not be proud of and my great aunt would not be proud of. Maybe I should not do this. And then right after she leaves, she'll be like, all right, I'm going to make this phone call right after I literally got pardoned and literally right after this whole courthouse and everything. Let me do this right outside. No, like, at least go up the block, around the corner, and then make the phone call. She's like, you know what? Super soldiers are off the market. You know what? I got you. We got other government issues and everything. So this could lead up to the next type of Thunderbolts, and with Zemo maybe connecting everything like that, because we know that the Thunderbolts are also being released in the Disney Plus in the future. So with Sharon and everything, will this be connected with the next Hulks, Agents of Smash? Who knows where that's gonna go for sure? Because Thunderbolt, Ross had always had a disagreement with the government later on in his life, so maybe this would be connected with Sharon, and maybe they've been working together behind the scenes as well, because we don't know what he's been doing either. So technically could be possible, right, James? Sam, let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, real quick, and I'll toss it to you, Sam. But like much like that Mission Impossible reference that I just made, I get it. Different characters react to different situations in different ways, right? Like Henry Cavill's character in Mission Impossible Fallout. He is someone that feels completely jaded by the government and decided to do something completely different and go against the government, right? I'm okay with that, right? It's just for Sharon, it's not something that I care about seeing. Does it make sense? Of course. Will it be compelling for a sequel series to The Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Yes. But personally, again, it's not something that I would want to see. Again, if they were to make Mission Impossible 8 and Ethan Hunt switch sides and he's now working with the Syndicate, like he decided to rebuild the Syndicate and he's now the bad guy, would I understand why he made the switch? Simply because the IMF has turned their back on him like 15,000 times? Yes, I get it, but is that something that I want? No. You know what I mean? But I know that's just me personally. It is what it is. Again, in Feige we trust, and we'll see how it goes from here. But Sam, what are your thoughts?
I think this having her being the power broker gives her more interest into the story, into future movies along the way. Because if she wasn't a power broker, like what else would keep her interested into the next following continuation of these movies? This really isn't. It's just literally she's just gonna be like the whole sidekick for every single time with when it comes to like Captain America and Winter Soldier kind of thing, which it's not really as needed. At least if she's the power broker. She's the middleman. She's the dealer for every villains of equipments and technology and advancements. She technically she can actually play both sides if she wanted to. She's technically the double agents for both either the criminals or for the secret government, anything. She would be the only person that has all the information from both sides anywhere she wanted to. And if she feels like there's one side is having too much power, more power than she has, then she's going to tell the government and do something, and vice versa. That's going to happen. Because when Carly was confronting her, like, what power does a power broker have without the super serum? A lot more than you do. Like, there's a lot of power within being a power broker, especially playing both sides, and nobody.
And was it Madripoor too? Madripoor is a place that's criminals on top of criminals. That's where a lot of X-Men comics come from. So I'm curious to know, is she going to be connected to the X-Men movies as well? At the moment, yeah, I'm stretching this idea as well, but like, who knows as well?
Dude, it's all possible, man. They're all connected, so it's definitely possible, right? It's not impossible at all.
And plus to answer what Chad said as well, yes, we know Sharon has played an anti-villain or anti-hero in the comics, so we know that. But when we have seen her, we have not seen any type of foreshadowingness of her to turn. So that's what James and us feel some type of way. Like, where was the motivation? Like, we get it that the government didn't pardon you. All right, cool. I don't think that's a huge thing to be like, you know what, fuck the government. I'm a
right, like the turn to straight up supervillain that will now like take resources from the government, the CIA, and sell them to arms dealers that she knows are going to use them to kill kids. That's why it doesn't really work for me. It's like, yes, like it was blatant. It's in our faces that she was definitely one of the possibilities, but I didn't want it to happen at all. It just doesn't work for me. And it's just the more and more that I think about it, the more and more that I talked about it with Mia, it's like, I get it. I completely get feeling jaded against the government and feeling like nothing you do. Her mother was one of the people, not her mother, but Peggy was one of the people that founded S.H.I.E.L.D. And then to find out 80 years later that everything Peggy worked for was a lie and Hydra was in charge the whole time, I get being jaded that you can't trust the government. But again, to just jump the shark straight to supervillain, it just doesn't work for me personally. Maybe Sharon is a Skrull. Oh my god, dude!
I would laugh,
dude. I fucking hope so.
James was on this. James was on this, guys. If you guys didn't watch our WandaVision reviews, James was on this. Like, it has to be a scroll. The guy that was the director for Sword at the time, he's like, he has to be a scroll. Yeah, Hayward. Like, he's a scroll. Wait,
could still
maybe
be a
shares
scroll.
a scroll. I love that he brought that back because man, it would be funny if Cher's actually a scroll, because then it would kind of make sense then for a character if that's the case.
Yeah, but I want to keep going here. I want to move on to all of the amazing like sequences with Captain America flying around. I love that helicopter sequence where he uses Red Wing to like try to find someone that could potentially pilot the helicopter so that he can grab the pilot out of the helicopter. Like, what did you guys think about that sequence? And then we'll also talk about the sequence where Captain America is holding up the armored truck and pushing it back with the Red Wings, with the thrusters. Bro, that moment warmed my heart, man. It was amazing.
So if I have to give a comparison from first episode to last episode helicopter sequence, I have to give it to the first episode, not just because of Captain America and everything, but more of the CG/VFX look wise. I felt like the first episode was done a lot better with his suit and everything was more clean. I feel like with this episode 6, I feel like it needed a couple more time to make it look more clean, because when he went on top of the bridge, you could tell a lot of the wings of the CG and for the VFX wasn't fully, like, I felt like it wasn't fully detailed, but that's
it was kind of spotty at times.
Yeah, spotty, but that was really nitpicky. But without the nitpickiness, I fucking love it. Red Wing came back. I love it. And I love how he was being smart to keep intact, knowing that he needs to save them, also not cause more damage to bring in the helicopter down. So he knew that he needs to save the people inside the helicopter, but not take the whole squad down inside the river or cause more damage to the bridges. So I love how he was smart about that. And the way he was with the shield, knowing that right before he went outside, he threw the shield, knowing that he's still not perfect with having the shield come back to him. So he went down through the shield, also he needed to grab it. So I love that combat with the shield in the helicopter scene with that topic that we're on. Sam?
All the training that Sam had to go through to do with the shield and to have his wings together, it came to help. It finally, like, all his training montage, the whole training of him running, him throwing this practice of throwing the shield, different ways of combining his wings with the shield combination.
Oh, yes.
It took a lot of time, a lot of effort, but he got it. And he's not even a super soldier. What? And what?
I love how when he fell into the water and when those solid concrete pillars were falling down, my dude was on those pipes. He went down, but he went down like a torpedo using his wings going all the way up. I'm like, oh, because I was curious to know when me and Sam were watching, I'm like, I wonder how he could get back up. And when he got up like a torpedo, I'm like, oh, that's dope. That is dope.
I feel like I'm gonna say that's all because of Wakanda's technology and advancements, because that's all part of the suits, and that's a more better improvement. And Red Wings are like the only ones that he made advancements and attachments onto it for his new suit and everything. That's why I'm gonna like say give it all. It's because it's all vibranium. It's all tech. I could say like anything is kind of technically possible, because I'm pretty sure you would never see Sam with his regular suit within the water. If he touches water, you're technically kind of screwed. That's literally throwing your computer onto like a bathtub.
That Wakandan tech, bro.
Exactly. You need that better technology, waterproof, everything. Going from the sky and literally as a water jet underneath. And literally have the whole comedy so it's like, oh, I'm so gonna give you an ass whipping like that.
Spicy was good. Thanks for joining in. I'm definitely with Bryce on this one too. Like, I love the way that Sam uses the shield with the wings. I love when Carly was trying to punch him. He puts the wings into the ground to stabilize himself, and then the shield to protect himself. I absolutely love that.
Yash?
Can you repeat that, James? I was zoned out for like a quick millisecond.
Yeah. No, I was just talking about how Sam was using the shield and the wings together, where Carly threw the punch inside of like this warehouse thing, and then he uses the wings to pretty much stop himself from being pushed back, and then he used the shield to protect himself from the actual punch and the concrete block.
Oh, because you jumped. That's why. because you threw me out because I thought we were still on a helicopter and go to the next scene. But with
No,
that
because
scene,
Brees brought it up in chat, so I wanted to talk. I wanted to talk about it real quick.
with that scene, I had to give props because what Sam mentioned earlier, his combat skills with the shield and the wings and learning using the boost of his wings to use the extra force with the shield and the wing. I love it. And also when he used the wings on the ground to hold himself against that punch as well.
Right.
I love that combat because showing that he knows he ain't no super soldier. He knows how to run. He knows how to, do combat. He knows he can hold his ground, but he knows that he cannot take a punch from a super soldier. So he knows he needs the best type of defense and offense and combat in air maneuver, which is literally probably like a 12 type of feet of space. But knowing that he needs to use his wings against a super soldier like Carly like that, so that's freaking fantastic, showing how great he is to maneuver with the wings. I love it.
And he still plays the hero. Like, I don't want to fight you. I'm not gonna attack you. All he did was defend, and take all the hits until Carly literally lets out all her aggressions and then just picks up the gun. Because that shows this is not a fake. Don't tell me you've bought into this fakeness. No, I
love that.
And I'm showing you right now, I'm not fighting you. I'm not going against you. I'm not treating you as a criminal. I'm just defending myself. I'm trying to talk to you. And even though you're not listening, and even though you have a gun in front of my face, I'm not going to attack you. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm trying to be this change for this world. But I know where you're coming from. You don't want to hear it anymore. You don't want to accept this anymore. But
so I love the conversation that she brought up to him. You accepted, because once you saw him in the sooner, you accepted the whole propaganda and everything. I love what you said. It sounded like, well, if I'm not gonna do it, I'd rather be the change for it. I love what he responded to her, for her to understand what is going on, and for her to understand that this is not just for him to be part of the government. It's for him to change it, for him to become the next best thing. And if he fails, somebody would take the next match and improve it. And I love what Carly was frustrated, and the speech that he told to the senators and everything, you don't want to see a Carly 2.0. You don't want to see you'd rather help out these people because she's a teenager who's going through a midlife crisis, and you don't want to see what people with a gauntlet can do. I wish he brought up the gauntlet type of phrase and everything, but he went around the trail knowing that literally there's a blip that just literally happened not that long ago. So I love how this conversation of how Sam and Carly happened. It's sad that she died, but it was meant to happen because she literally caused a lot of trouble around the world. Mm-hmm. But her cause literally brought Sam to have an understanding with the senators and knowing that I'm a black man. But for you guys to know what the hell I'm doing here, you guys need to understand that people are not going to like me as Captain America, but I'm still here. So you guys need to help out these people around the world that came back from the blip or not. So I love the conversation. It was really beautiful and really impactful for it.
Yeah, well, what Carly said in the show is it's much bigger than me right now. It doesn't matter if we die. We're dying for our movement, because even if we die, there's gonna be others that's gonna take my place. That's gonna continue this movement unless there's gonna be a change, and that's what Sam wanted to avoid. You do not want a Carly 2.0. You do not want more super soldiers. You do not want a resistance, literally fighting you and everything. Don't be the next person that's gonna do the next split. In this situation, everybody's against, half the world's against the other half of the world, and there's so much war and fights and in between with each other. We both understand that we have struggles. You trying to figure out within the 5 years of time where people are coming back, how do you have them homes? How can we find peace? How can we find the middle? If at least we know that we're all struggling, but we're all struggling together. We're not alone. We can literally help each other hand in hand to find a better solution, instead of kicking down one person just to bring yourself up, just so that you can get away from your own struggle situation. And as even afterwards, when the flag smasher were escaping, well, not escaping, but when they were thrown into the truck, when the soldiers was like one world, one people. And you could tell, yeah, of course the movement is still gonna be around. Mm-hmm. There's gonna be some people who's all right, I see a new change now thanks to Sam. Mm-hmm. But then there's gonna be all the other side is, I don't know if I could completely trust Sam that this change is happening. I'm still gonna continue this movement.
I just love how the soldier said one world, one people, and then right after that, the whole brother said, "All right, explosion time, bam!"
Yep.
I'm like, oh shit.
Zemo got the last
Zemo's
laugh on
butler.
that one.
I mean,
He did it.
he did want to kill all the super soldiers in the world. So
But I just love of how the butler was there ready, and I love of how Madam Hydra literally said, I was part of it, or maybe I was. Maybe I wasn't. Was I part of doing this whole thing? Or maybe Zima got the last laugh. Maybe I did. Or maybe we both did. So I love that conversation with her. Like her that role of Madam Hydra, I forgot the actress name, but she does an amazing job to portray Madam Hydra because she does that portray, like knowing that she's a villain, but maybe not a villain, like the way that U.S. agent John Walker don't even ask her, like, who are you really? Am I working for a bad guy? He just goes along with it, like, yeah. I'm going to wear a whole black suit and everything.
So thanks for bringing up John Walker, because I kind of want to jump back to where he was trying to save the people in the truck, right? Like, they have done such a great job for getting me to empathize with John Walker, because the dude, he just wants to do good, right? But he's a fuck up. Like I've said before, he wants to do good, but the dude is just a fuck up. But I love that moment where he's fighting against all of the flag smashers and he sees the truck is about to go over and he realizes, no, my job is to protect people, not just trying to get revenge. So I love that he went straight to grab the truck. That was something that's really, really important to me, because I love that this version of John Walker is completely different from the comics. I love that he is someone that is trying to do good that may not be in the best situations all the time. So I really, really appreciated that. You can see that Bucky and Sam also see that within him. Yes. And I love that, man. So I can't wait to see where all of that goes. Like, what did you guys think about him trying to save everyone?
I was so sad to know the ride that we know that John Walker is going to go as a character, as the whole U.S. agent, like knowing who he becomes. But I'm like, when literally the conversation of John Walker joining Sam and Bucky to find Carly, but then also John Walker working together with Bucky and working together and then making the call of Abraham Lincoln, and then Bucky saying, when you say it's not that good, so I'm like, I like this, but knowing this episode, like, damn, I don't want to go that round of U.S. agent. Like, I like what y'all doing, but damn, I know where he's going. That sucks, because that means they have to fight him later as an anti-hero. But they do such a good job in the writing for us to hate him last episode, and then for us to like him this episode. That's a good job in writing for us to empathize of this character, knowing that he's doing good, of what James mentioned, that he's doing good, but his action just goes in the wrong route.
He makes bad choices, but in the end of the day, he would do what's right at the end, which you see from most characters. But then in those kind of characters, they usually die in the end. But I mean, I guess you're still alive. Congrats to you, because we already know he took the serum for himself to be able to at least try to stand up to Carly and the others, flag smashers, because they're also super soldiers, because he was taking a huge beating of a 3-on-1 fight. They were like,
yo, oh yeah. So Chat's talking about that right now. Like, I love the fact that his shield just sounded like a trash can lid the whole time.
Yeah,
like Spicy
like
brought it up as like, can we talk about his Party City shield? Oh, bro, so I was laughing my ass off. Like, what did you think you were doing with this metal shield against super soldiers, bro?
So we all here have seen JJK, and for those that have seen it, they're not big spoiler, but when our boy got beat up, jump by Yuji and by Nanami, literally getting beat up left and right. This is what I felt like when I was watching our boy John Walker getting beat like by 4 of them dudes. Literally just
pulled off the parking meter thing. I was about to smash him with that. I was like, yo.
I kind of wanted for him to see what happened. Like, yo, continue getting jumped. This is being entertaining. And then Bucky had to save him. I'm like, damn, Bucky, can we just see the dude get jump? I just want to see that continue getting jumped. Like, I feel bad when I do get jumped. Like, hey, I have seen people get jumped. It's horrible. But seeing it on John Walker, who he's a super soldier, he could handle a bit of pain. But then Bucky gotta save him. Like, damn, I just want to see
he still got his ass kicked by Carly, because
he got the work, bro.
Like, yeah, she's smaller than him in the size. How's the best way to fight a guy that's bigger than you? Tighten up the fighting spaces. Literally use your size.
That and their strength is on the exact same level, right? Because of the serum. So,
but yeah,
and also like. What Carly's when John Walker came in on the first scene, he's like, yo, Carly, what's up? I came to fight you. And where Carly said, like, yo, I didn't mean to kill him. It's not like he didn't matter. I'm like, what you mean? are you telling me that he doesn't matter? I was
Not
like,
to my fight.
damn, wrong choice of words, Carly. Wrong choice of words. Wrong choice of words. You should have not said that.
You're not what I'm after. It's these people in there I'm after. It's like, really now? Okay.
Yeah, like wrong choice of words. You're about to get the ass whipping, but technically
But then
he got
again-
the ass whipping, but like,
but then again, it was 3 against 1. He was a good distraction. I mean, Bucky has to handle one of the other flag smasher because he fell down from the pit. Another flag smasher literally had one of the iron girders coming down at him. Luckily, the arm saved his life, saved his head, saved his neck.
I'm about to say, like, he literally saved his head, but also when our boy Bucky fell, he used the hand to also hold his landing as
Superhero
well.
landing.
So like, right? You're like, I can do it. So technically, does Falcon does a superhero landing, even though he flies, he just lands on his feet. He doesn't really land on the knee and everything. So
I mean,
Falcon,
I guess it's still technically a superhero landing, yeah.
so like I kind of like that, but overall, the fight between John Walker and everything, the route that he's going, and the U.S. agent type of route. Can't wait to see the shield turning all black and have the star and everything, or have the star and the U.S. On it as well. And hopefully they did give him a better type of shield instead of cosplay shield, because my dude literally.
Where are they gonna find a vibranium? Where are they gonna find a vibranium?
Where do I need this type of shield?
They
Can I get some
don't need
vibranium?
vibranium. Whatever Cap's shield was made out of in like the first film, I feel like they can use that, right? Because that took bullets and that took a lot of different like hits from a lot of different things. A lot better.
What happened if they also use the other material in that, like Wolverine, adamantium?
Adamantium.
Do they have the rights yet to use the name?
Yeah.
They have all the X-Men stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know, honestly. Would it be cool? Yes. My only issue with that is like,
you said it. Yep.
Yeah, my only issue with that is like, okay, so which one do you say is like the hardest, right? I guess you could say that vibranium is the most versatile, and then adamantium is the strongest, technically. I don't know how they would play around with that in the MCU. I'm very curious. That would be dope if they found a way to like give him an adamantium shield.
That's what I hope. That's what I hope, because when Captain America and Iron Man has fought before, and when when Captain America Wolverine has fought before, and Wolverine and Black Panther before, it's been a hard challenge because they both have hard material where it goes against each other. So I hope U.S. Agent gets some adamantium where Falcon, aka the new Captain America, goes against U.S. Agent in the next movie or in the next season. That'll be a nice battle instead of like them trying to find or steal the next vibranium. Like, oh, maybe that's why they have to go to Wakanda, because our boy U.S. Agent trying to steal the next vibranium to make the next shield.
I don't want him to be a villain anymore. I want him to, like a Cadmus type thing, like where the government tries to create their own Avengers team, if you will, to try to actually protect the country. That's what I want. Like, I don't want him to be a bad guy anymore.
He definitely will be, because he's the U.S. agent, so he technically would be working for the government, but in the dark ops, just like Madame Hydra is. Even though it's like, yo, I gotta give props to the wife as well for John Walker. That's a supporting wife, because she don't even ask questions either, and like she's a better version than Amber, because she's supportive as hell. And she's like, oh baby, you look good in black and everything, and yeah, by a woman that we have no idea who the hell you are, but you're helping my husband here to become a good hero because that's what he wants to be. Thank you. I should ask no questions.
That's a grown woman versus a little kid. So there's a huge difference there. But let's go back. I know we lightly touched on it, but let's get back to Captain America talking to the senators. I absolutely love this. Sam already touched on this as well in terms of like how it plays into the politics. But this is what Captain America is about. Captain America is someone who's trying to fight for freedom for everyone. It's like, yes, I understand that you're saying that this situation is entirely extremely complicated, trying to reallocate people, funds, resources. And Sam is like, yeah, now you know what it's like to be a minority in America. Now you know what it's like to deal with the things that we deal with day in and day out, where everything isn't easy, where we struggle. But the point is for us to stand together and figure it out together. When he talks to them about who are you talking to when you're making these decisions, right? You're not talking to Exactly. Who's in that room with you? You're not talking to minorities. You're not talking to the people that are struggling. You're talking to other senators, other investors, people on your level who see dollar signs, right? You're not actually including the people that you're actively affecting. And I love that all of this was on the news, that everyone could see this. I love that Isaiah Bradley was watching this broadcast and how proud he felt to watch Sam stand up for something, to stand up for true freedom. Like he said, it's like, I am standing here, a black man in stars and stripes, no serum, no blonde hair, no blue eyes. I am here standing up for the people. I am here to stand up for what's right. And we have to work together in order to preserve this way of life for everyone. Look at, there's millions of people around the world that supported Carly. Why do you think that is? That's the important thing that he brought up. No one even took the chance to figure out why Carly and the Flag Smashers decided to go this route, and why millions of people around the world joined in their cause. We're doing something wrong and we have to fix it.
Vince said the line, that's what I love. You can feed 1 million people with a phone call, and I love that. That was fucking brilliant.
You have the same amount of power as a mad god, or whatever he said, whatever he said about Carly. You have the same amount of power, right?
Yeah, and it was impactful because I was watching Sam, and like I tear watching it because a lot of African American and blacks and Spanish people are always in a minority in a lot of cultures, in a lot of countries and everything. To know that the way the speech was said, the way that like, I felt like it was something that was well written and it was beautifully said for people to have an understanding of what it goes through, and for the whole senators to know that most of them were white, and for them to actually see what was going on, and for literally most of the time they stood shut, and I love that. Like Sam literally had the open floor, and the whole cameras and lights was just shining on him where everybody was watching. And even the scene, a couple when Sam was saving the people in the truck, one of the guys said, "Oh, that's Black Falcon," and then the guy said, "No, that's Captain America." I love that scene too because it's true.
I started crying, bro. I started crying.
I love that, and I love it how it's beautifully said, because it's where the black guy said that's Black Falcon, but then the Spanish guy is the one that said it, that no, that's Captain America, and that to me was freaking amazing. Like me just saying it,
I'm trying not to get emotional right now.
Like it's just impactful for Sam. What are your thoughts about that as well? Because you brought it up much earlier when you was giving your speech about it as well yourself. Because even Chad said it that you was on a roll. So add to that.
Yeah, this like with Sam is by and for the people. He never broke. He never bent. He never changed his way. He will always have hope. Even Isaiah tried to change his mind and how like the world is always, even though it might look different, it's still the same way. No, I'm trying to tell you, like, we have to change, and I'll take the first step if I need to help for the world to see that this is a new era. This is a new world of change. We're all struggling. We're all in the same place. We all know what it's like. Can we at least give hand in hand or each other's help to cause less trouble, cause less wars, cause less rebellion? And can we just like feed the hungry, help the homeless, support one another, each other? Just literally communicate with one another to at least find a better middle ground and not categorize as terrorists, because that's just stop calling them terrorists. They are not terrorists. They're just people like you and me. Because you classify them as that, the world is afraid of them. You gave the world a message where they are against us because we call them that, but they are like no better than what we would do. They're freedom fighters. They're doing what they need to do to help survive the struggles. And that's the kind of same thing with the same world that we live in. We categorize like other people in countries as terrorists, insurgents, other like horrible names that we give them into. And the horrible thing is everybody's watching the news and they're all afraid. You're giving them something to be afraid of instead of something where they should like, no, they are also people. They are also doing what they need to do because they are struggling as well. I think the best way we can do this is help a lending hand, not just saying like, oh, we're gonna help you guys just for publicity. No, we need to literally do a phone call, feed them. If you're able to do a phone call to cause literally like to drop a bomb into another country of what you consider as terrorism or spend billions of dollars for us, why not just use this to feed the homeless, feed the hungry, help other worlds? We have this power. Who are you trying to impress? Do we need this money? There's only so much you can do with the money around the world, but people are starving. People are dying.
I love how the main.
Sorry, go for it. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna add, like, I love how the main senator said that, oh, we have our troops ready to send people back, and with the resources. And then Sam mentioned, like, if you have the resources to bring people back, how about help them instead? Trying to put them back in borders. How about helping people? Like, did you ever bother to ask why Carly's do this? Why these flag smashers are, like, want to cause us trouble? And I love how Sam brought this up and everything. So I love how, like, this whole conversation, like, I saw on Twitter people like, oh, this is push agenda left. I'm like, yeah, shut the fuck up, my dudes. Like, yeah, don't know comics if y'all really think there's a left agenda. Yeah, there's so many freaking cartoons. There's so many freaking TV shows, movies that always been about politics, because story written series are about real world. That's how people relate to it. This is how human nature stuff are into our stories, into our medium. Green Arrow, it's like Batman comics and everything.
You do realize that Professor X and Magneto are literally based on Malcolm X and Martin Luther King,
Thank
right?
you.
You do know that, and right? It's all political.
Like, and when people get mad that saying that Clark can be black in a live action movie like Michael B. Jordan, like, motherfucker, he's an alien. He could technically be any color.
Yeah,
orange,
Kal-El is
green,
not
purple.
Caucasian. Sorry to break it to you.
he just grew up in literally a white neighborhood in Smallville, Kansas. That's all that happened. The only reason he landed there. But other than that, he could literally be a different color. But people want to be mad about, oh, because he came in black. I'm like, that is possible. There is characters for the video. He's an alien species of an alien immigration type of scenario. What are alien immigration sometimes? Black, Asian, Spanish, in the U.S. countries and other countries, because we don't have our citizenship. So people put in that agenda on Twitter and everything got me mad. But at the same time, I should not let that stress myself, because as long as you enjoy your show, as long as you should enjoy your content, at the end of the day, and have this type of discussion here. This is why this channel is for to have a discussion, and other channels like Anime Lately, Project Manga, and other shows, because we like to enjoy what it is. And politics are in every type of medium: comic books, manga, anime, cartoon, and movies, and everything. And Sam in this show, Falcon, aka Captain America, did a great job in the writing. He delivered. He did a great job in the acting for this role, and I love how many times he did it. I'm curious to know behind the scenes if he did it in one take, because this was beautifully well done as well.
Yeah.
I think all his roles of action movies and other performance and dramas had trained him to be ready to take on the role of Captain America, and it worked. It's all paid off. We are finally here. He's made it. He's at the top of the top.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen Outside the Wire, starring Anthony Mackie, I highly recommend seeing it. It's not groundbreaking or anything, but it's a pretty entertaining film, and he plays a super soldier, which is interesting.
Yeah, I see that on Netflix a lot. Actually.
He does. Because I saw you talking about it a couple of days ago as well. But can we move on to the last couple of scenes? Because
I was literally gonna. The last two things that I wanted to talk about was Bucky making amends, and then we'll talk about the Isaiah Bradley conversation and all of that stuff. So let's start off with Bucky finally making amends. So he goes to see the dad of the guy that he killed to finally give him closure. I love when he goes into the room and tells him, I have something to tell you about your son. He was murdered by the Winter Soldier, and that used to be me. Bro, when I tell you that hit me, it really, really hit me, because I know that had to be really hard for Bucky to say that, because he wasn't in control. He was in the sunken place. He was able to see and know everything was happening, but had no control over his own actions. And that had to be so scary for him to have to go and make those amends. And we do see that he sent the book back to his therapist, and we don't get to see it all, but he does go and make amends to everyone else that he had names in that book. So Sam, like, what did you think about Bucky making his rounds of amends?
I think like this was something that Sam told him to do. Like you're avenging. You're not redeeming yourself. You're just avoiding all the problems that you're trying to do. And of course, this is what's happening. You're struggling right now. It's because you're not facing your issues you're not facing the troubles in front of you. Need to accept that if you want to change, if you want to feel better, if you want to accept in everything, literally face it on, not as an avenger, but as anybody should to deal with any situation. Confront your problems. Like, it's gonna be very hard. It's gonna be a great struggle, but in the end, you will feel better, and it gets better. Because like when the father was asking like, wait, why? It's like, and Bucky had to answer hard. I had no choice. And I think he was so sympathetic. He was so not sympathetic. He was so remorse. He was regret. You actually see it in his face.
I was just gonna say the acting by Sebastian Stan, bro.
He literally was in full-on pain where I had no control. I'm so sorry. I did this to you, and I did this to your son.
And Breeze, I get it that wish we got to see our boy Nakajima, but I think the point was not to see it, is that in the story aspect of the cinematography, for us to understand that this is more of a closing the book to our Bucky's story. This is more of closing the chapter of him letting the past go, but understanding and forgiving himself is what Sam was told.
You gave him closure.
Bucky is that
closure
don't
instead
avenge,
of an invisible.
forgive.
Yeah.
So I love that understanding for him as a character. That's the reason I believe why we didn't see his crying or his staying quiet of him, the real reason why his son died and everything. So I feel like that's the reason. But knowing that he understood, went back to the bar on a Wednesday, and our boy Bucky went to watch him and everything. I thought he was gonna go back on the second day. I was like, "Oh, Bucky's gonna go back the second day. He about to get that pussy."
I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad that didn't happen.
True. Honestly. I'm like, "All right, cool. I Bucky, we get it. And it's been a good 100 years, so it's time to get the feet wet and everything." I'm like, "Cool."
Yeah. Chief also brought up like I'm not the biggest fan that they killed Batroc. Honestly, I feel like you could have used Batroc similarly to way Scarecrow was used in the Dark Knight trilogy, where he's just this reoccurring type of villain that shows up that they just can't seem to catch. I would have preferred that other than them just killing Batroc. I think he's a decent antagonist, but I mean, yeah, it is what it is.
My hope to see him was to fight against Spider-Man, since he's also a Spider-Man villain. So I was hope to see that of him. So I was like, oh, cool. He finally fights against Spider-Man, since he's technically a Spider-Man villain. I'm like, all right, cool. And he gets killed. I'm like, oh, well, I guess.
I mean, it's because Sharon doesn't want the word of she's the power broker let out in the world.
Of course.
Which is the reason why like Sharon had to kill Carly, but at the same time, I think Carly was going to shoot at Sam regardless. So I think Carly was going to shoot at Sam.
I don't know. I don't know
about that, Sam. I have to disagree on that.
So I don't necessarily disagree, right? I feel like it's a coin flip. It could have gone either way, right? But I feel like if Sam had more time to talk to her, maybe he could have talked her down, maybe. But it's like Zemo said, like, she's become an extremist. Like, she's too far gone, and the only way was to put her down, right? But to me, it could have gone either way, and I would have been happy with it. If Sam was able to talk her down and get her in prison, I would have been okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with Sharon having to kill her, because it just kind of is what it is.
Yeah, it's to like hide the secret and everything. Because
was fun for that reason.
You have to drop loose ends, that sort of situation, and that was
that
Carly
too.
For her.
That too.
Because like remember, she was trying to get Carly back to her side and everything, and since she said no, all that's really left for her is to kill her in this situation. I know people don't really necessarily like that Carly had to die in the end, but I feel like in the scene that the whole entire time, it kind of justifies the means where you can't reveal a secret. Even if she's in prison, she still continue the flag smasher. She could still be the leader. She would still have that opportunity. She would still have, and
she can tell the world that Sharon's the power broker. So like you said, Sam, like Sharon had to clean up loose ends, right? So she took care of them. The flag smashers, their ideals will be around for years to come. Like she said it herself that the movement is so strong they don't even need to be the face of it anymore.
quick thing. I just laugh when she told the people like, "If we die, we die." I love how old. I love how all the actor face was like,
It's like, nah,
you
nigga.
know, we kind of gonna die. Like, you sure about that? Because I don't want to die. Like, I love how all of them were like,
one world, one people.
right, guys? One word, one people are like,
Yep, one people.
one people.
Yeah, you have that. You
I
have
just
that.
love that scenario there. It
And
was
you have
amazing.
the older lady be like, one people. It's like everybody's in. I can't really say no.
Like, damn. I don't want to fucking die. I want to live, yo. So I just love that scene. Like,
I mean, like, and they're like,
that's
hey,
hilarious.
we're still alive. We were just gonna go to prison. Yay!
Nope,
one
psych.
people."
Explosion. But quick
Damn.
thing that James brought up also, like when Carly died, when Sam Captain America brought her, that scene reminded me of in a Superman comic of when Supergirl died, like just carrying her like right in the comic issue. That reminded me a lot of when Sam's just carrying her like,
That
oh,
was
shit,
beautiful, man.
so, like that was really beautiful, and the way that the score was just silent, but the lights was just showing her and everything, like just showing him landing and just putting her
Gracefully in a way, everything is.
it was a beautiful scene, so I had to give props to her tonight. And like as much as that she was a teenage portrayed as a villain and everything, I have to give props to the actress because sometimes when you have a one-off type of villain like AKCW, they're not always that great. But MCU has been delivering because their weakest type of the formula is villains, and for this, it has been doing very well. So even though WandaVision was more Wanda herself. But we actually got a good villain, and we got an understanding because of the one world, one people. So
you
I gotta give props to the MCU for that. What Sam just mentioned, we actually sympathize as people because we know something about borders, aka Trump and the Mexican border and all that bullshit stuff.
That's why I'm trying to say this. Like this entire series, everybody should watch this because it really connects to the real world. Disney, Marvel universe. Connected real life situation, real world actions, not just with politics, but literally real life world, segregation, racism, all of it is into this world. Like, sure, if you can watch this, call it mid to whatever you want, as long as the message has been delivered and you the message, eventually you can come to adapt to that. We could come to adapt and understand where this change needs to happen. Can we at least be better people by accepting this change in this sort of way? This is the thing is that's what Captain America is representing is hope. You gotta hope for the change that people will change.
Exactly, bro. So let's get into that hope, right? Like let's talk about that last sequence with Isaiah Bradley. I love that Sam goes to go see Isaiah, and Isaiah tells him, you know what, I'm not gonna lie to you, Sam. You're special. You know what I mean? And Isaiah sees that Sam is someone who is actually standing up, that actually represents him and the other people like him. And I love that Sam says that we built this country. We were a part of building this country, and no one's going to tell me that I can't fight for it. And I am not going to let all of the people that bled for this country, I'm not going to let that go away. Even you fought for this country. You did something that not a lot of other people could do. The sacrifices that you made in an attempt to save your fellow men, your fellow soldiers, right? So I love that he sees that in Sam, and he tells Sam, this road isn't going to be easy. And Sam knows that, but he's willing to do it. I brought this up on a past episode. Sam is doing the Obama thing. It's very easy to just sit back and just be jaded and just be like, the world is never going to change. The world is never going to, we're never going to get to a point where the police aren't murdering minorities in the streets for no reason. But someone has to stand up. Someone has to say that enough is enough. Someone has to put the target on their back in order to effect change. And I love that Sam Wilson, Captain America, is that person. Bro, when we got to the Captain America Museum and I saw that monument, I broke out into tears, bro. I was sobbing tears watching that entire scene, because in the comics, they do something similar, but in the comics, they actually bring out Isaiah Bradley, reintroduce him to the world, and honor him in front of the world. I understand, based on the MCU, that couldn't be possible, and I'm perfectly okay with that. But the fact that he was honored And Sam tells him, no one will ever forget the sacrifices that you made for this country. Dude, I'm trying not to get super emotional right now. But that moment hit me so hard. Vash, what were your thoughts on that?
I love it because I love how Isaiah didn't speak. It was perfect. He was speechless. He didn't know what to say because he was so emotional. And his grandson, or I think his nephew, if I forgot which was, also was speechless as well because they both were like in shock that Sam kept his promise. Sam did not listen to Isaiah. Like, I'd rather stay dead. I'd rather the world don't know me. And Sam's like, I cool. You don't want the world to know you, but your legacy will still live in a museum where people, once they come to see Steve Rogers, they will know that there was another person after Steve Rogers. Nobody may know about it, but it's here in the museum for here and ever. And people know that legacy in the comic book world is a huge thing because it inspires others, aka his nephew and slash grandson will be part of the next generation of Avengers. So, aka the young Avengers. So that will be the next inspiration for him. But we'll talk about then a few of the last Easter eggs that they show for aka the new Falcon and everything else before we go.
Mm-hmm.
But that thing about Isaiah was so impactful, and I love how Bryce even said it. That I love how Isaiah still said and gave him shit, saying that you ain't no Martin or you ain't no Malcolm. I love that. And Sam was like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
but
I know.
I can't lose something. So I love that. It was beautiful. It was strong. And I was crying that scene too. Like, this episode hit so many surfaces. And I don't give a fuck what people say about politics, but this shit was so strong in that type of scenario. And with Isaiah conversation, it felt like Isaiah accepted him because he said it. I accept you as Captain America. And just know your role will be hard. And I love what James said, like Obama and everything, because he said that, hey, I could die trying, but at least I know I could try and do a change. And that was beautiful because that's what most comic book or most people that have a dream or have a dream to become a next legacy know, that if I die trying, at least I know somebody could be who could pick up the next mantle after me, know that they could do something better or improve what I did, because that's what Sam believes in. And I love that. So that was so beautiful to know that Sam knows the weight on his shoulder to know that he's doing something huge and he's doing something huge for his community. And I love that.
Yeah. Sam, what are your thoughts on that?
So, like, I'm gonna first bring up with what Spicy Lady said. Like, a lot of amazing Black stories are lost in history, like that. Like, I absolutely agree with you.
Hidden
Because
figures.
It's you have to like understand and see that there's a lot of Black history around the entire world, even though it's been like covered, disappeared into the back of our history, and we're not learning this in school like we're supposed to. Where all the nine history books that you barely even know, and it's with Isaiah, he's a veteran. He's a soldier veteran that never got his like respect. He never got his reward, not reward, never got his appreciation from the world of what he did for the living. He was a great impact for the entire world, and what Sam did for him was really beautiful, very heartfelt. Like, it worked. It just like you will be remembered. You will not be erased. We don't need to say you're a super soldier, but you just went but we can at least have the pictures. We can actually say what you did for your men, where you go for your brothers, an arm. Like, you will go in straight into a full-on bullet in a raging fire to just protect your men, just to save them out. And this is like the same way Captain America, what Steve Rogers would do. That you are a Black man, a person that's never been in the real history books. It's always going to be covered. It's always going to be erased. Never be out in a world where you can be an inspiration for the future. Like, give them like an image, give them a hope, give them a hero from the past that it's real life. And that's what Sam gave Isaiah. Like, you telling your story. We are showing the world who you are and what you've done for the world, and what you can hope, what your story can do for the future, within the generations of other minority or Black community, for Black people can literally like to see a hero, to be an inspiration, what they can live in, like what they can see themselves in, not just be invisible, not just to know like there's no history of you, not only because we only see you as Malcolm, not only see Malcolm X or not just with Malcolm X and not just with Martin Luther King. Let's see more veterans, Black veteran soldiers. What more did they provide? What sacrifices did they make? What are they willing to do that other people were not willing to do? Like, because in the real world, there are cowards and there are heroes, and there are people who are willing to put forward others before themselves, and that's what we call heroes. And we say them every day. Our veterans, our heroes. We need more people of color to be in history books. We need to give people the inspiration of what their ancestors have done in the past, what they're willing to risk their life for, what they are willing to fight and protect, and what they believe in. Because like, even though there's many people who don't believe like in the hopes, they don't believe in the justice, they don't believe in like what they feel like their government is doing what's right. But there are people who did believe in it, who literally who fought for it, defend for it. They never got the respect for it. In fact, with Isaiah, he literally got tortured because of it, which was cruel and hurtful, like just the most horrible thing that you can ever do to like a person. Instead of like, you bled for this country, you deserve respect, you deserve help, and not be in front of like a Walmart or Target homeless and help, and you just say thank you for your service. No, that's sad. That's so disrespectful. It's like, we need to do more. We need to do change for the people.
like we talked about previously, like Isaiah Bradley did the exact same thing, literally the exact same thing as Steve Rogers. Steve saw that his men were behind enemy lines and that they were being experimented on too. They were prisoners, and Steve went behind the lines, brought them back. He was honored for it. What did Isaiah get from it? His identity was erased. He was locked up in prison for 30 years and experimented on. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous what happened to him, but I'm glad that Sam was able to at least find a way to honor him. People will never forget the sacrifice that Isaiah Bradley made.
So we all agree that we like we all agree that we're not disappointed about the museum aspect, because I saw a couple of people from our community that with some our mutuals were disappointed with the museum. When they asked, "Oh, where are we going?" and he got like a whole museum type of section for him. I wasn't disappointed. James is saying, "Well, you're disappointed about it," because from what it sounds like, why would I
about this? Why would I be disappointed?
You're like, what were you expecting?
You're respecting you.
From what's on the timeline. From what's on the timeline, a lot of people expected something much bigger or something more for Isaiah to get something from Sam. But I'm like, this was great for Sam. Like, this was a beautiful Sam.
He did not want his identity to know that he's real.
He did not want him exposure. Yeah, that's perfect.
Isaiah didn't want to be brought back into the spotlight.
And like what Spicy Lady said, he was tricked into. He had no idea what he was taking, and it was the super serum, super soldier serum. And what would happen if the world knew that there were more super soldiers that were in the past? You're gonna have people like Zemo trying to kill him. Like, he was trying to hide his identity. This was like the best way to escape. So what Sam did for Isaiah is, you're no longer the unsung hero. You are the hero in our memorials, our history books, and for the world to see and to be remembered.
Yeah. Hopefully in the next movie or something, in the sequel, we see Sam's sister kids read a textbook, and Isaiah as Captain America is right there in the textbook. That's my hope, that we see that.
Bro, I hope so. Oh my God.
That's my hope, that we see that type of follow-up, that he's added to the textbook. He's added to the history of Steve Rogers. And as well, okay, we got Steve Rogers, we got Isaiah, and we got Sam. Hopefully we see that in the textbook, because that'd be a beautiful follow-up for Sam's sister kids. That would be a beautiful, knowing that, he's added recently to the textbook and everything. That would be amazing.
Yeah. Vash, I'm going to keep it with you. What are your final thoughts on the series, the season finale, and the Falcon and the Winter Soldier as a series on a whole?
I love it. I hope Bucky continues flirting with Sam's sister. I want that comedy to continue going, because I just want that type of be like, don't flirt with my sister. I want that.
He was flirting but also playing with the kids at the mechanics.
I love that. He's like, so how about us go to eat next Saturday and everything like that. Eventually, I don't mind taking the kids here because you see, they have fun with my arm and everything, and you can have fun with the other arm. You know what I'm saying, right? I just want that type of comedy. Like that would be amazing. Additionally, if people didn't notice as well, I forgot Sam's friend from the Air Force was also playing with Sam's previous wings at the end of that scene as well. So that means if people don't know from the comics, he becomes the new Falcon as well. From the name, I forgot his. If you do know.
Say that again.
Whose name?
The guy that was working with Sam in the Air Force, that was playing with
Lieutenant Torres.
Torres, yes, thank you, Torres. Yeah, Torres in the comics, for those that don't know, he becomes a new Falcon. His suit is like a little green and white, little like lime green and everything. So can't wait to see down the future how it comes out and everything. So overall, I enjoy Captain America and the Winter Soldier. I love it very much. It far exceeded my expectation. I think me and James spoke about it before we saw like a good couple of 6 weeks back and everything, like what we were expecting. And I'm very happy with the fruition of storytelling of Sam becoming the next Captain America and the story of a person that's black and how he has the weight off his shoulder and how he's expected to take this helm. So I love it. Me and James were worried about how will the MCU handle this, and they threw it out of the park. It was amazing. I wish it was 7 episodes because I feel like one more episode would have closed the circle with a couple more threads of the story, aka of Sharon, Meta Hydra, and a couple of other characters. But this was beautifully set for me overall. So I really love this 6 episode. Would it be a limited series or would it be a sequel after the movie and there will be more story told in the next season? Who knows how MCU will handle, but love it. Can't wait for Captain America 4.
Yeah. Sam, what are your final thoughts?
The series impressed me. Like I didn't have this kind of expectation with Falcon and the Winter Soldier, because like from the meme that I've sent you guys in the picture, I thought it was going to be a whole buddy cop movie or buddy like villain kind of thing that was kind of show a series that's supposed to happen. But no, this entire series had a lot of meaning and a lot of a great message and a good story, and it hits a lot of targets on like in the world issues, the life issues, mental health, our veterans, everything. It touches all of it. And yeah, you can either just watch it for the if you're just watching it just because for the action and the CG and everything come into it, I'm a little sad because you don't get to experience the whole message and the whole entire picture that comes with this entire show. Because it was great. This actually excelled my expectations absolutely. And like, this is not just the whole entire series just to see Sam in his new Captain America suit. No, this was much more than that. It's the center, but everything beyond it, the story, the impact, the everything, whole evolution of all of transitions of all of it. Wonderful. It impressed me a lot with acting, everything. Anthony Mackie, thank you.
Props to him as well. He delivered a fantastic job from going from a rap artist from 8 Mile to this.
Yeah, from Papa Doc to Captain America. This guy's a gangster.
from Clarence to
really, Miss Clarence.
That is Clarence. But guess what? I'm Captain America, bitches.
But
I love it,
just to echo everything you guys already said, like, this series surpassed my expectations. The acting is absolutely incredible. Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, these guys are amazing. I can't remember the actor's name right now that plays Isaiah Bradley. He also does an absolutely incredible job. Daniel Bruhl is amazing. I love the new Sam Wilson Captain America score. I love that. Cinematography is great. I love the way that they were able to have Sam use the shield and the wings together to fight to be this new version of Captain America. I love how it focused on those actual issues that minorities have to deal with every single day. If you're going to make a black man Captain America, you can't shy away from the things that would be a struggle for a black man to be such a symbol, right? And I hope that that's something that they continue with in Captain America 4, and if they do a sequel series. I can't wait to see where we go with U.S. Agent from here. I'm also very curious to see how we're gonna see Sharon go on from here. We know that she's back with like the CIA. I'm not sure exactly what organization she's going to be with. I know in Civil War, before she helped Cap and Sam and Bucky, she was with the CIA. So I don't know if she'll go back with them, but whatever she's doing, selling government secrets and all of that stuff, I'm very curious to see where that's going to go and how Cap and Bucky will have to take her out essentially at some point. But I love everything about this season, and man, I just can't wait for more. Like this season has taken me on such an emotional roller coaster, bro. And
James, first thing that pops in your head right now, once I ask this question, you can't think too much. Captain America and Winter Soldier of this or WandaVision?
Oh man, shit. I would have to pick this. I would have to pick this. The character beats. Yeah, the character beats are just way better in this to me. Like I feel like there was at least one moment in each episode where I almost broke down crying, bro. Like
it's almost unfair because there's not too much story with Wanda before WandaVision, and then after the WandaVision show, you give her more depth, you give her more of a character and everything. Where such as with Sam and with Bucky, where it's already kind of their characters are already established. They actually played within Captain America and the Winter Soldier movie, and they already have their parts and their scenes and everything. You already have the impact a little bit, so it's a little unfair. But yeah, it is. Yeah, Falcon and the Winter Soldier over WandaVision.
Yeah, right, cool. So Sam, where can the people find you online?
Guys, you can find me at Sam the Mega Man at all my social medias, but also especially follow the Anime Lately channel on YouTube, so on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, everywhere you can find us. It should be all down there in the link below.
Yeah. Vash?
You guys can always follow us every Friday here on the C4S Villain Show that I love to be doing with James week to week. It's one of our favorite pilot shows that we first started, and here to see the fans, the chat, they guys here and support. And don't forget to review us on the audio podcast platforms on both C4S Villains and the Anime Needle podcast. And follow me at Legendary Vash everywhere else. And thank you guys for all support. And let us know what you guys thought about it. Tweet us, and don't forget to tweet at Sam to read Black Clover as well. It's glad I appreciate to know that we don't want him to miss out the great conversation of a Black Clover series called Magic Greatness. Wasn't that James?
Yeah, you guys can follow me all over social media at JB Exclusive, and of course at C4 Spoilers. Please like the stream, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you don't mind, maybe share it with one of your friends. They might dig our conversations talking about all of these different comic book shows, and I really appreciate every single one of you guys being in chat. You guys show up every single week, whether it's here on Careful for Spoilers or it's on Anime Lately. So I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys coming here every single week. We appreciate you so much, and we will see you guys on the next one.